Hello guys, welcome back, and in this video we are going to learn about how to create endpoint for the login operation. If I wanted to revise whatever that we did in the last video we have did writing some models operation for a registration purpose because previously we did only a registration endpoint. Now we are going to add login endpoint. All those things we have done. Once after completing the login functionality, I'll be giving you the quick overview of the Node.js APIs that we have developed, what are all the packages that we have used, what are all the things that I covered here, how to create, and it's a kind of overview. If suppose if you this is the first video you're landing on my page, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit on the bell icon so that you'll be getting a notification whenever I upload videos to my channel. Okay, so that's how it should be. Now let's start with creating a route for login operation. So let me have a router object dot. This is also going to be the post endpoint. Okay, so there are actually different endpoints. I might have covered the HTTP methods in previous video as well, if suppose. If not, post means that we are trying to send something from our side to the server side. I mean, we are trying to add. Okay, we are the body of the content actually have something. We are going to persist those details in the DB. Get means that we are usually trying to get something from the server, okay, based on ID or something. Delete means that you are deleting some specific record. Okay, we do have a patch request. That means it's as name implies, is actually the patch. You wanted to update only few details, then that is nothing but the patch request. If you wanted to change the entire document, I mean the entire record, in that case we will be using put. In my case, I'm not going to do anything, just post. Okay, so within the post, first, as you can see it here, we wanted to get the endpoint first. The first and foremost is nothing but the endpoint. Okay, so let me have a login. Apart from that, I'll be getting two different things. One is for username, another one is for the password. So we need to have the same kind of validation there. Let me copy paste the same validation here as well. If you didn't get what that validation actually means for, let me explain that. The username, okay, username password are the field that I'm going to get from user. I'm just validating here. This is the name, okay, the username. Email is not valid as the error message. I'm just validating whether the username field contains proper email or not. Okay, this validation actually comes from this specific express validator. Okay, package called express validator. And here you can able to see that I do have password. We cannot able to verify the password is actually strong or not, but we can verify the length. I need to have minimum of 3 and the maximum of 10. That's the length that I do have in the website. So based on the password that I'm getting, that will get encrypted using the hash and then verify with that. That's how we done with the registration operation. The little difference with the registration operation and the login is, in the registration operation, we hash the password based on the salt that we are generating. Now, we don't know the salt, okay, because we when we are logging in, we don't know anything, only username password that we have. First, we need to try to get the detail from the database based on the username. Okay, if the username detail is already there, then I'll be getting some record. I will be also getting the salt. If based on that salt, I'll be trying to encrypt the password which is come from the user side. That is nothing but the specific password. Once both are matched, then I confirm that the login operation successfully done. Okay, that's how we are going to do the coding part. Now, as you can mention here, this is the registration method. I'm going to call this as the login method. This login should come from the controller. Let me have login here. Save that file without any confusion. Now we need to open the controller and write some code for the sign in operation. Let me have here you can see that I do have this specific operation. Okay, now we are done with that. Now exports dot whatever the name that we want. Now I do have a login because that's the name I mentioned in the route login. So let me have login here, and then the function I'm using ES6 syntax. Let me have that. To get the request, I'm having the request object. I'll be having the response object. Now we got the structure of the method. First and foremost, what we need to do is I need to get the body of the request. The request body actually got the username and then password. Okay, these two details will be available in the request body, which actually comes from the UI side. For a note, we haven't started working with the UI development yet. The UI that we are going to develop is actually based on the React application. As of now, we are developing only the backend and then the API. Once after completing this thing, we'll be going further to the front end side. Now, I just completed reading the username and password from the request body. Now, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to check whether the user is actually present in the DB or not. For that, this specific sign-in function, we can have anything. Now, I'm going to keep the sign-in, okay, SIGHIN. Now, this should be small I, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm following that thing. First and foremost, what I'm going to send is username, okay. Now, where does this specific sign-in method comes from? This sign-in method actually comes from the model. We haven't done anything for the model operation yet. We are about to do so. Let me try to write something in the model operation. Where is the model? So this is the model. Let me try to write exports dot login. Okay, exports dot login equal to same username and password and then the body structure. For this specific login method, I'm going to get username. First, I'll be checking whether the user is actually present in the DB or not. For that, let me remove this terminal so that you'll be able to look at that. Registration, okay, this registration is the table that I do have. Registration dot find. We have a find and find one method. I am going to use a find one method. This specific find one method helps you to get only one record from the database. So based on which condition you wanted to fetch the record, that is where we are going to pass within the, okay, sorry, within the curly braces. The first and foremost, this is nothing but the where condition. Along with that, I'm going to pass, I wanted to check this username. If you go back, you'll be able to see I do have one field in the table called username. I'm going to check against that. Username colon username. That's it. This username means that the column present in the table, this username is the value. If suppose if that gets confused to you, we can just keep it as email so that we do have different things. Okay. Once this specific syntax actually went well, then I'll be wanted to get the result. That result needs to be returned, right? And one more thing, let me have the curly braces here. This should be like this. Okay, that's actually the then operation, that is to the promise needs to be success. Then if suppose there is any error, then I will be having the catch block to handle the rejection. Error, I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm just printing in the console.log. Okay, console.log, something went wrong. So what I can do is something went wrong. The error message, we can just print the error message. This is also ES6 syntax for the string manipulation. After that, I'm just returning ERR. I already mentioned in the previous video, whatever the content that you are returning in the success block and the failure block, that is nothing but resolve and reject. That only come out of this specific method, not this method. To get this result out of this method, then you must add one return here. That's it. That's the login functionality that we wanted to achieve for. Now, this is where we wanted to implement the same operation. The object that we get from the model is nothing but the promise. We need to then I'm getting the user object, so I'm just keeping this as user and then a block. within this block I could able to access that. There might be chance, okay, there might be chance I might not get the proper user object from the backend. If that is the case, I'll be I'll be returning the response as bad request. 400 means bad request. Also, I'm sending some content stating that as error. The user not available in the application. Right? This is nothing but the error response. Only when the user object doesn't have anything. Okay. So that's completed. Now what we are going to do is, if the user is present in the DB, then I'll be getting the proper user object. Okay, based on that proper user object, as I mentioned previously, I'll be generating one password and all those things we will be continuing in the next video. Please stay tuned.